Hey everybody, how's it going? A very common question that I get on this channel on a lot of the board repair videos, for the few subscribed that have actually watched them, is where do I start? Where should I begin? How do I start? And obviously, I don't really have an answer to this question because there's millions of ways to start, and there's no one correct way. One person may start by working on a device they purchased on Craigslist. I started by working on boards that I had swapped for customers. So if a customer came in, they couldn't wait for it to be repaired at some outsourced facility, I would buy them a new board, take their old one, they wouldn't want it back, all these were in a bin, so now I had a bunch of stuff that I could work on, and every time I needed to be able to do something, I said, well, I can't do this because I don't have a schematic. That's my excuse. And I did this video on learning through excuses, or creating a curriculum for yourself through excuses that may be handy to you that I'll link here. And every time that I said, well, I can't remove this chip because I don't have a hot air station. Get a hot air station. Well, I would be able to, take the chip off this board and put it on that one, but I can't put solder balls on it. Okay, well, what do you do? Okay, you buy a stencil. Okay, let me find a stencil. I would do this, but I can't find a stencil. All right, so I ask a bunch of people, I'll pay you $100 for this one stencil. Can you find it for me? Then someone says, you don't have to pay that much. Here's a vendor that has them cheaper, and so on and so forth. And I kept kind of digging down to learn. There's many different ways to learn, but the way that you learn is by getting started. And what I think keeps a lot of people from getting started is this idea that what they do needs to be perfect. So most normal people don't want to start doing something until they know how to do it right. Whereas the crazier people will say, I don't know how to do this correctly yet, but I don't care. I want to start my journey. I want to start learning. I want to start getting in there and messing around and figuring things out. And this is an article that I read recently about someone that I wanted to work for over 14 years ago, and I wanted to share a part of it with you. So when I was a teenager, I remember reaching out to two people. One was Roy Hendrickson, who worked at Avatar Studios. I did a video, thank you, Roy Hendrickson, here earlier on the channel. And another person, I believe, was at Teal Audio. His name was Jim Teal. Part of my course from my English teacher, his name was Mr. Pelinkovic at Susan Wagner High School. Part of our assignment was to reach out to people who were doing something related to what you want to do with your life and ask them this series of questions so that you will gain some idea of what it is you need to do in order to do what you want to do with your life. So rather than just say, I think I want to do this, then go to college, then do this, that, or the other, when that may not be the actual path to achieving your dream, ask people who actually achieved the dream that you want to achieve, what they did, and this way you'll have an idea of where to go. He was an excellent English teacher. His name was Mr. Pelinkovic at Wagner High School. I think he's the dean now. He's one of the best teachers that I ever had, bar none, when it comes to earning respect from people rather than demanding respect from people. I'd love to have him on the channel for an interview at some point once the plague is done. I have a lot of respect for him. He really contributed a lot to the few positive qualities I wound up with as an adult. And Jim Teal was another one of them. He made loudspeakers. He was an engineer that created these amazing loudspeakers, but he was one of those kinds of engineers where you could just kind of tell he seemed like the kind of guy that was just sitting there until 1 or 4 in the morning messing with his designs all day until the very end. He actually developed, I think, he wound up dying from stage 4 cancer, and when you look at the timeline of when his latest creation came out and when he got cancer, I can't confirm this, but it does appear there's a good chance that he was probably working through the cancer to achieve his dream. And there was this one article that I was reading, and this is just one of the many reasons that I remember asking if they needed an intern or something. I said, I will happily move from New York City to Lexington, Kentucky to work for you when I was 16, and I was all starry-eyed and didn't understand that you actually needed to have qualifications to go work for a company. This is from an article that I read. So this is a mid-range driver over here, and I'm going to give you 5 seconds to see if you notice anything about the driver. This driver is made from a Coca-Cola can. So this looks like a mid-range driver for a speaker. And what I'm guessing happened is they probably didn't have the right aluminium around. If Dave Jones is watching, do try to cater to some of my Australian viewers there. They didn't have the proper aluminium around. So the guy literally took an effing Coca-Cola can and he used it to make a mid-range driver. And this may seem silly to you, but this is actually what people do when they're starting in a new field, or they're just trying to figure out how something works and they don't have the right tools around them to do the job. What most people will do is say, I'm going to wait until I have everything perfectly right in front of me. But the reality is that event is almost never going to happen. You're not going to have everything perfect right in front of you if you're just starting and doing something new. You're going to have a little bit, And okay, I got this far, but now I need to go over here. Okay, what do I need next? And then you're going to find the next thing that you need. You're not even going to know what you need until you get started and figure out that you need it. But that requires that you get started on the journey. And this requires that you get started without knowing everything. And normal people, sane people are going to say, I don't have what I need to do this properly, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not gonna try to learn. I'm not gonna try to, look around my room and see what I can do, make do with this Coca-Cola can. Crazy people are gonna say, I have this crazy idea for a mid-range driver. I don't want to wait for VIFA, whoever, ScanSpeak, or whoever else to create my model. I have an idea and I want to test it. It's 1 a.m. Nobody's open. What do I do? Oh, here, a Coca-Cola can. That's made of aluminium. This is the mindset of the people that wind up revolutionizing the world. This is the mindset of great engineers that wind up making great products. And he made a lot of great products. The people that are as nerdy as me may understand why this makes me incredibly happy and smile every time I see it. They are beautiful products. He makes stuff where you get legit 2 inches of linear excursion with less than 3% distortion. It's effing crazy. But he put a lot of effort into his designs, and he wrote about what made his design special. He liked to share all the information. Unfortunately, after he passed, the company was purchased by a bunch of, I think, venture capital or whatever rubbish that wound up trying to drive the legacy into the ground, designing devices that were the exact opposite of what he wanted to design and putting his name on it. It was a great shame. They wound up going bankrupt 2 years ago. But if you take a look, this is really some of the same stuff that I was doing when I got started. So if you take a look at this video, which is absolutely disgusting, and if I had any good sense, I would just fucking privatize this shit on my channel and get rid of it. This is a backlight repair. So the problem with this is that the trace right over here between the 2 pins and there was broken. Instead, I have a wire that's doing this effing Six Flags fucking Space Mountain loop-de-loop from the capacitors on output over here. And this is stupid. This is junk. This is absolute garbage. And I just said, okay, I need to run a jumper wire. And I saw the jumper wire that they were using on the boards that other people were fixing, like when I was doing the outsourcing. But I said, I don't know the name of this. I didn't know the name of it. It may sound silly to you, but when you're first starting, you may have this feeling where you go, okay, I see the guy using this tool, but I don't know what that's called. I have a picture of it. I don't know what it is. And you may not know where to ask what that is. So what I did is I didn't want, before I figured out it was magnet wire, I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to get started, dive in. I remember going through my store looking for wires. Okay, speaker wire, no. Pull out an individual strand, no. When you bend it, it breaks immediately, and it's not, can't use that, and it has no enamel. IDE cable, no, it breaks too easy. Okay, let me cut open a burned A1278 LVDS cable from the e-waste container, rip out the individual strands, and see if that works. Okay, that works. Wow, I got a backlight. And then after that, then we can go to, okay, can I make the wire shorter? Can I run the wire from the ends of the trays? Can I scrape away the ends of the trays? Is that something I can do? Okay, I can scrape the coating off of the ends of the trays. Cool. Then you can see, okay, now I can run the wire to the pin. And there are people that may watch my stuff that think I'm really smart, and I really try to hammer this home in all my videos, but people don't believe me. But when you look, you're welcome to look at videos like this. They're public. I will leave them public for the entirety of this channel being up here. This is really dumb. This is really stupid. This is garbage. And but that was part of the learning process. And the way that I get to, oh, I can use an enamel jumper wire. Great. That's what that thing is called. And then I buy the, 42 or 44 and 38 gauge enamel jumper wires. And then I got my little green conformal coating and everything that I put on everything. But the way that you get to that point is through this. And the people who are often amazing, great, genius level engineers that I will never match, people like Jim Teal, even they would have stuff like this lying around in their office where this is a mid-range driver that and the diaphragm for it is a fucking Coca-Cola can. I'm not where I am because I'm smart. I'm not where I am because I'm a good person. I'm not, really none of these things. It's just the way that I was able to progress was I want to try something, I fail. And then I have this negative self-talk. You don't know what you're doing. You have no idea what you don't know what you need. You don't even know where to go to get what you need. You don't know where to look for what you need. You have no idea what you're doing. You don't have education. You're a moron. Yep. All right. Well, let's keep going. It's 1 a.m. You're not tired yet. You got all the way until 5 a.m. because you only need to get 3 or 4 hours of sleep before you show up at 10 or 12 the next day. And then you just keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. And you don't let that get to you. I'm sure there were times when before Jim Teal designed his first speaker that he said, you know, I have this great idea and I know what I want it to sound like and I know it's going to sound amazing, but it's not fucking working. It's not fucking working. And something tells me that he just probably stayed there at 2 or 4 in the morning and just kept working on his design, you know, even if it meant I ran out of the materials I need to make a driver, I don't want to wait for this, and just decided, screw it, I'm going to use a Coca-Cola can to make a driver. So this here is something that is really awesome, and I think that more people who are looking to start out in any sort of new field need to have reminders like this up there, that it's, you know, when you start out, when you're first learning, when you're first getting started with something, yeah, it's normal that you just look around your room and you grab something and you say, does this work? And sometimes that won't work. Sometimes it won't work, and you're going to feel stupid when it doesn't work. But when it doesn't work, you don't go, oh, I guess I don't know what I'm doing, guess I'm a moron, blah, blah, and give up. You keep going, because if you keep going, you'll get incrementally better with each step. And as long as you're better today, or you know something today that you didn't know yesterday, you're going forward, and that's the right direction. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think of this in the comments down below. I think this thing is really, I think this is awesome, to be honest with you. I would pay to have a copy of this in the store sitting on the shelf, because it is really cool. See you all in the next video.